Hey, welcome back to ArchiHacks, and we have another very exciting tutorial today. We're going to be creating this image, which is a combination of this nice studio setup rendering with a precisely lined up outline and dotted line on top of that. And what's really great about this is that you only need Rhino and Illustrator to achieve this. No V-Ray or paid rendering software involved. So without further ado, let's get started. And full disclosure, this image was inspired by this image I found on Pinterest, and I can't precisely find out who rendered it. So if anyone knows, please let me know in the comments, and I would love to credit the original author. And if this is an issue with the original creator, I'm happy to take down this video as well. So yeah, just reach out to me if you find the source. Thank you. Okay, so we will start from a very simple scene in Rhino. So what we basically have is a bunch of extrusions that I made them with boxes and skewed them a little bit so that they are in desired shapes. And what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to Boolean union them together so that it becomes one piece, and then I'll merge all coplanar surfaces. So now everything's this clean object. And now the next thing I want to do is I want to create a hollow out surface or turn this into like a hollow space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset surface, and I'm going to flip the direction so that it becomes like the new object that we're creating is a little bit smaller than the initial shape we start with. And I'll change the distance to, let's say 3 for now, but use the metric that works the best for your project, obviously. Okay, so once that is ready, you might see like nothing has happened, but the new object is actually inside the outer object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a cell last command to select the object inside. Or actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the outside object and then lock it so that I can freely interact with the object that's inside. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Control and Shift to select the sub-object surfaces and select all the places where there needs to be an opening. So for me, I'm going to be opening up these areas. So I'm going to select them and then use the command extrude surface to extrude them like so. I'll repeat the process on the other side. Boom, there we go. And now I'll select everything and then Boolean union. And now our base shape is ready. So now I'm going to unlock everything. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to Boolean difference the outside with the inside. So let's go Boolean difference and click on the object that we just modified. And boom, look at that. We have this amazingly smooth object that is hollowed out. So now we can start working with this. Now that we have the interior corridors ready, I'm going to go ahead and unhide the little shell that I prepared in advance. And this is again a very simple extrusion that's going to go over the whole building. So I'm going to place it right over here. And leave it at around there. I'm going to Control Shift click on the floor and get rid of that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the inside, like the little like corridor object that we created, and trim out the openings from the exterior shell. So let's use the trim command and click on the inside of these windows so that I get openings like these. And I'll repeat that process. Okay, there we go. Now we have a bunch of openings and a shell that corresponds to it. It looks pretty good. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to offset surface on the outside shell as well. Offset surface, and I'll flip the direction so that the arrow is pointing inside, and I'll check the settings again. So for this one, I'm going to set the corner to sharp so that we get sharp edges, and we end up with something like this. Beautiful. All right, I think our base model is basically ready. Base model is basically ready. Let's set up the camera. So I'm going to go over to the Properties tab and then set the camera to parallel and adjust our perspective so that it is the way we want it. I'm going to hide the exterior shell for the time being And I'm actually gonna rotate it this way so that we get a similar one as the one we were looking at earlier. All right, cool. Okay, I think this is the kind of perspective I wanted. Adjust it however you like for your purpose. Now, before we move forward, I'm gonna go ahead and save this view in case I want it later. I'm gonna go over to named view tab. If you don't see this, you can click on this little gear icon and then click on named views to enable this tab. And the same goes for all the other tabs if you don't see one over there. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this little save icon and save this perspective. And we will get into rendering part. So what's kind of special about this tutorial is that we're not going to be using V-Ray as our rendering engine. We're going to be using the Rhino's internal one, and you'll be surprised how good it is now. So let's take a look at what we can do. So I'm going to go ahead and turn our render mode into ray traced. And this basically gives you the preview of what you will get when you use the Rhino's render. And if you want to change any settings here, all the settings are basically built into these tabs over here. So for example, I'm going to go over to the lights tab. And if you don't see this, you can click on the gear icon and enable the lights from here. So I'm going to turn off the skylight so that there's this overall thing going on. So I'm going to create a new rectangular light that runs sort of like parallel to this object, like so. And now as you can see, everything turned black because now this is the only source of light. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit and then adjust our object so that we can light the scene properly. Okay, I'm gonna rotate this a little bit, like so. And I'm gonna go back to here and set this as ray traced so we can get a preview of what that looks like. It's already starting to look pretty good. I'm gonna rotate this a little bit. What's really nice about rectangular light is that you get this really nice soft shadow. And you can really play around with this, like, and try rotating it and see what looks the best for your project. And for now, I'm gonna go with something like this. Yeah, okay, that looks pretty good to me. The parts that I'm sort of focusing on is like trying to present the project in the best way possible. And I think this way we show the most contrast between like different faces. You can clearly see the openings within the building. So when you're designing your lighting setup, I think it might be good to consider these parameters. Okay, cool. Now, I think this is almost ready for rendering. So I'm gonna go over to the render tab. And again, if you don't see this tab, you can go over here and enable this with this rendering option over here. Now from here, you can actually set up the quality of your render. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this to about good quality. And this basically just increases the number of iterations. And for dimensions, I'm gonna set this up as 1920 by 1080. But I would usually recommend going with one step higher for your project. But for the time's sake, I'm gonna go with this one. And you can follow along whichever way you like. Oh, and you can of course go with a custom dimension as well by clicking on the custom. Okay, so for now I'm gonna do that and click on the render to see what this looks like. And clicking on the render button will create a new window like this, and you can see the render progress in the bottom left corner of this new window. Since we set this up as good quality, the ray tracing sampling will go up to 500 steps. Great, all sampling steps have been completed. And as you can see, if you zoom in a little bit, you'll see a bit of graininess. And this can actually be compensated by using the NVIDIA denoiser option if you have an NVIDIA graphics card. So when you enable it, as you can see, all the noise level disappears. And I think this is like a key point that makes Rhino render so much more powerful compared to before. And if you don't see this option, there's actually a simple way to install this. So before we get too far, I'm just gonna go ahead and save this image. Now, if you don't see that option, you can go back to your Rhino and type in package manager. And from here, give it a couple seconds for the options to load. There we go. And now you can search for denoiser or NVIDIA, whichever one that makes most sense. And you can choose the option that works the best for you. So for me, I have an NVIDIA graphics card, so I chose this and then click on install. And once this is complete, you have to restart Rhino. And after all that, you should be able to get that option afterwards. So once that is done, we can move over to getting the line work for our drawing. So I'm gonna go back to shaded view and I'm gonna bring back the shed from the hidden area. Okay, so from here, we're gonna export two types of line works. So one of them is gonna be for the interior, that's gonna outline everything. And we will have another one for the outside shell. So let's go ahead and use make2d command to export this. And for this, I'm gonna disable hidden lines so that we only see the lines that we can explicitly see, and I'll export that. And since we only have one type of line over here, instead of exporting it as a Illustrator file, I'm just gonna copy this and go over to Illustrator and paste it. Now the only thing about this is that you might have to unnest it, so release clipping mask and put it into appropriate layer, but since we only had one type of line, we didn't really have to do that, so great. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in the image that we had rendered earlier and put it in the layer below the line work and scale it down. So one thing that's going to be really useful when you try to match the rendered image to line is the scale tool. So you can hit S as your shortcut and click on the little corner. So we had already matched this corner over here. So we can use that as a center of like focus and scale everything relative to that point. And what's really nice is that you can zoom into this area and make some really precise adjustments like so. And now as you can see, image seem to match up pretty well. Let's do that one more time after we reduce the line weight. So I'm gonna go ahead and click the little empty area to the right to your line work layer. And I'll reduce the weight by a lot. So I'll go with 0.25 and lock that line work. And we will double check that everything lines up properly. So as you can see, the image is a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna again, use the scale tool to scale relative to that area, like so. And now we have a very precise lineup with the alignment. Okay, nice. Okay, next thing I want to do is actually get the outside shell as well. So I'm going to go over to back to Rhino. I might delete that and go to our perspective. And this time around, I'm going to select everything. So both the outside shell as well as the inside, and use make2d with the same options. All right, so now again, I'm gonna copy this and then paste it into Illustrator. Now, before we mess anything up, I'm gonna place this on a third layer so that we can work on these all separately. And again, I will line this up to where our drawing is. So we can use, what's really convenient now is that we can use the first image as our point of reference and adjust the rest of the image based on that. And similar to the first step, I will use the scale tool to make sure that our image lines up. Okay, and for this one, I'm actually going to, let me also release the clipping mask and reduce the line weight to 0.25. But for this one, I'm gonna use the dashed line option. There we go. Now, I probably don't want the dashed line for the main object inside, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete any lines that overlap with the original. Like so. And you can be more precise with this if you have more time, but I'm gonna do this really roughly for now. Okay, there we go. Now we have a precisely lined up outside shell and the inside. Okay, and almost last but not least, we're gonna adjust the artboard so that it fits the image that we had imported. A quick way to do this is actually by selecting the image and using the artboard tool, which is over here, and simply click on that image and it'll create an artboard that is precisely sized to that image or that object that you had selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and remove the artboards that I didn't want. And now we're left with the artboard that is exactly the size we want. Okay, and there we go. We have an illustration that we had originally wanted to create. And this is what it looks like. We have a lot of really great things going on over here, such as we have this really nice soft studio-like shadow setup over here. And on top of that, we have a line work that goes on, and they are aligned perfectly with our 3D geometry. And we also have this outlined dotted area that goes over the whole corridor setup. So hope you guys like this tutorial. Definitely give it a try if you have a similar project or another project where you could use a similar type of setup. If you liked this video and found it helpful, give us a thumbs up and subscribe so that you can see more helpful tips like this in your feed. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.